All right, here we go. Ah, okay, here we go. Waiting room, admit all. Okay, got it. Whoops. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry that I'm running a little bit late today. Let me get Rebecca, make my co-host. Okay, great. All right, I see I got Marlena here. I've got Rebecca. I've got my autopilot. I've got Sister Sophia, and I've got Tina's autopilot. I hope I get Tina here today. It would be great to see her again. And let me double check and make sure my live stream on Facebook is going well. Everyone, will you all please do a little check-in for me? If you are watching live, go ahead and type in the comments live. Burgundy is here. Hi, beautiful. I'm so glad to see you. It's always good to see a sister Aquarius showing up and showing out. So go ahead, girl, do your thing. And my Jew is here. Hey, Jew, happy solstice. Woo, woo, woo. So y'all, look, I'm a little bit sluggish today. Woke up really early this morning, full of ideas. As you all know, I created a new program for you, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Wait, no, we're talking about that on Tuesday, by the way. So at our usual live stream next Tuesday, 10:30 a.m., I'm going to be giving you some really good details about the new program that I created with all y'all in mind. Y'all know who you are, okay? Y'all know who you are. We talked about it, you know who you are. So welcome and thanks for joining. So my name is Crystal Lynn Bell, and I am a master spiritual life coach and worthiness advocate for women. I help magical and spiritual women become certified spiritual life coaches with their very own divine coaching business. So if you're interested in that, let's talk. My program is open already for enrollment. So I have a 12-month program that I've put together. And if you're interested in taking that next step, like you want to enroll in a program, you want to learn more about my program and what I have to offer, then book yourself in for a chat. And Rebecca's going to put the link to the chat in the comments for you. All right. And today is the 5th day of Spiritual Life Coach Startup Bootcamp. So this is officially the last day, but I did promise that I would do a bonus day, and that will be tomorrow. And we're going to talk about making money as a spiritual life coach. So I would love it if you all would mark your calendars for that day as well, okay? So we'll see you back here again tomorrow at the same time. Now, I am really excited about what we've been doing. It's been good. You all have been giving me a lot of good feedback. And what we've been doing, particularly during this boot camp, that's different than what I've done in the past, is we've been just really, really affirming the yes for the things that we desire. We've been saying yes, we've been typing it, we've been living a yes. And, you know, this was a very intentional move on my part because we had the new moon in Gemini that opened last weekend. So on Sunday, when boot camp came to life, it was the new moon in Gemini, and we did so much great work saying yes to our desire to become life coaches, saying yes to our desire to work for ourselves in our own business, and saying yes to success. So I want to end the way that we began. So what I want you to do, you all have learned a lot over these last several days, okay? On day one, we talked about your spiritual gifts of magic, your woo-woo, your intuition, your connection to the divine feminine, your connection to the light side of the divine feminine. Okay, that was day 1. Day 2, we looked at your connection to the dark side of the divine feminine. And we took a deep dive into your wounded healer, right? And then on day 3, we looked at your ideal client archetype. Who in the world would pay you to work with them, or to pay you to work? Who would pay you to work with you? Right? Who would come to you for service and receive help from you? That's what we analyzed on Tuesday, day 3, and we put together your divine coaching business blueprint, which is your vision for your divine coaching business. And then yesterday was day 4, and I gave you the roadmap for building your business. What steps do you need to take? And we saw that there were 18 steps, and they weren't hard, but there were a lot of steps. And each one of those steps has some sub-steps, lots of sub-steps that you need to do. So we went through all of that. We've done really, really well. And what I want you to do right now, because you have your vision, you have the roadmap, I want you to affirm your desire to not only become a certified spiritual life coach with a divine coaching business, but I want you to affirm a beautiful path of learning and building and becoming your best self. Okay, so in the comments, I want you to type in some version of what I've just said. You can say, yes, I affirm my commitment to my soul's purpose and my best self. I affirm my commitment to becoming a certified spiritual life coach with a thriving divine coaching business. The answer is yes. So type that into the comments. Let's generate some energy, and let's make sure that as we roll through this summer solstice, as we roll through this movement of the sun from Gemini into Cancer, as we move from this season of springtime into summer, this is a powerful fucking time for us, is it not? Did I not tell you that this was did I not promise that this was going to be a badass boot camp? Yeah, I'm dead serious, y'all. So let's get those affirmations flowing in the chat. Okay, I want to hear from everyone. I want to make sure that your energy is high and that you all are really taking in the love that is present on this call, in this group, and that is available for you. So I'm just going to check in here. I lost my screen. I lost it. I got confused. Here we go. Zoom. Yes. Where are my chats? Here are my chats. There we go. Marlena says, yes, I affirm. Yes. Right on, darling. Very, very good. Oh, good. Oh, Carlene, you made it. Oh, great. Great. I get it, Carlene. Yes. Welcome. Excellent. Everyone, do your work. Do the thing you need to do to generate that energy. Get your energy high, because this is a portal of creation for you. You may not know exactly what it's going to look like, but I guarantee you the yeses you put out there are being received by the universe. The vibration that you are carrying, the feelings that you're feeling, the thoughts you are thinking, the focus you are maintaining, that is what the universe is going to respond to, right? So the work we've done has really set you up to prosper. All right, so today I'm going to help you create your 9-to-5 job exit strategy. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a thing that happens in your mind. We do have a workbook, by the way. Rebecca, can you put the link to download, to sign up for the workbooks? So if you have not gotten the workbooks yet, Rebecca will give you a link and you can get those downloaded now. there's a one download with all 5 of the workbooks. So if you've already gotten that, you can go back to the original email and you should have access to that workbook. You should have access to all 5 workbooks, okay? Now, let's get started. So as your passion for the divine, and your passion for becoming a certified spiritual life coach evolves, you're asking yourself how to make this a reality, how to make this come into form. And of course, the answer to that is yes. What we've just done, saying yes, typing yes, is a way of communicating desire to the universe, okay? Now, the next important thing you have to ask yourself is how. Now, let's separate the hows of disempowerment from the hows of empowerment. So when you sit back, this is the disempowered how I'm going to talk about. When you take on a big project, let's say that you want to become excuse me, you want to become a certified spiritual life coach, set up your divine coaching business, and make $100,000 in your first year. You feel like that is something that is coming through you. And you ask, sorry, hold on. Let me do that differently. You want to set up your business. You want to become a coach. You want to make $100,000 the first year. And you feel stressed behind that. It feels like a big reach, like it's a stretch that's beyond. You find yourself shying away. You say yes to it because you want it, but you're kind of like going, like, I don't know. Like there's a lot of doubt and trepidation behind that yes. That is a disempowered yes. And so asking, how am I going to do that? Instead of becoming, how are we going to get this done? It becomes, I don't know how I'm going to do that. How am I going to do that? Right? There's a different vibration between how am I going to do that and how are we going to get this done? Right? The how are we going to get this done is a solid question that expects a solid response. And the energy of that is allowing, it's expansive, it's listening, it's serious, it's intended to move forward. This is very important to understand because we're using the same words practically. Okay, there's a shift in energy, so there's a shift in words, but the idea is the same. How are we going to do it? This one, though, how am I supposed to do that? How am I going to do that? Right? This is an energy of, as I said, disempowerment, but it's seethed in doubt. It's seethed in suspicion. That is a vibration of doubt and suspicion, and ultimately a difficult time and challenges, versus the how that is, okay, I feel it, I see, I don't know, I don't necessarily know how it's going to get done. I don't know what I even need to do, but I am open and I am ready. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to listen. Let's do this. Super different intention. So how can you pursue your divine life purpose to be a spiritual life coach, a spiritual healer, and support yourself, your lifestyle, your family, and your dreams while you're at it? How can you do this? So the answer to this is twofold, okay? Now, the first part is simple and straightforward. You're going to make a plan and you're going to follow it through, okay? We've already done that. We've made the plan, we've made the vision, we've made the plan, and even showing up today, You have shown up today, which is a part of the plan, okay? Making plans, getting educated, getting yourself expanded is a part of the plan. So you are taking action already on the plan. Now, in order for this part to even be effective, you need this second part, which might seem smaller, and many people bypass this, and that is an error on their part. But in my opinion and in my experience, and I think that you all will find as you grow in this work, you'll also discover that in your experience as well, this thing that I'm going to share with you is the key. It is the essential, and without it, all work becomes very difficult. So what we have to do is choose what you want and then align yourself with the mindset of your future self and your greatest potential, okay? So you need to align yourself with the mindset of your future self and your greatest potential. So let's talk about these. Let's get into these, all right? And I would love it in the comments, both on Zoom and on Facebook and on YouTube if you're watching. In the comments, give me a definition of your future self, or give me a definition of your greatest potential, whichever one of those you want to take on. All right. Now, while you all are thinking about that and typing it in, I'm going to give you my definitions, okay? Your future self is obviously you in the future. Duh, all right? But it's not the higher self. Your future self is not your higher self. Your future self is basically that version of you who has done the thing that you are going to do, okay? You 1 year from now is your future self. You today is the future self of you 1 year ago, okay? And I have done all the things to become the woman that I am today. And they are different from the me 1 year ago, okay? 1 year ago, I was looking forward, looking for me, and looking at me and saying, okay, there's some things that she has going on that I really like, okay? And that's what we want to tune into during this, during today's exercise, during our work, okay? Let me see if anybody has taken on the, uh-oh, here we go. I had the wrong Facebook, here we are. Let me see if anyone has shared. Ooh, Burgundy, I love that affirmation, girl. I am open, I receive, I am ready. Rebecca is affirming too. And Ju says, I commit to walk the path of my highest version for the highest of all. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm open, I receive, I'm ready. Embracing all things that serve me at my highest level of good while leaving others better than I found them. Woohoo! Yes, ma'am. My future self, the version of me that is more mature and aligned because of the hard work I'm doing right now. Sounds about right. Sounds good to me. Let me check on Zoom and see what's here. Okay, all these autopilots and their information. Okay, y'all. My Zoom user, I am willing and able to act on my life purpose of being a spiritual life coach. I'm ready to do the work. Yes, and yes. We're doing hands up, yes. Sister Sophia, I affirm and in observation mode, as I may not join the boot camp, but I've been around Crystal Lynn's bell for, yes, you have, yes. And no problem, darling. Observe as much as you want. There is no pressure to participate, although I know you have some good feedback. And yes, living from my highest potential on my path of highest fulfillment in joy. Beautiful, beautiful. So we all understand the concept of the future self very well. Now, I was told that this other phrase that I use is intimidating, and the phrase is your greatest potential. And I want to clear up any fears around what I call your greatest potential. Your greatest potential is simply the best you can do with the resources you have in this lifetime. That's your greatest potential. If you don't have resources, we cannot expect your potential to go beyond something that doesn't exist for you. And not everybody. So look, we are all children of God. We are all light beings, okay? And we are all endowed with divine inheritance, our ability to create as the Creator creates. God bless. And yet, we intentionally came to Earth with a whole bunch of limitations. Intentionally, our souls did that. So some of us are really tapped into that which is beyond the limitations, and many of us are not. So many of us are not, which is why we need spiritual life coaches. Okay, so the work around understanding your greatest potential is first understanding what resources you have access to, and then working with those resources to the best of your ability. And very often you can use the resources you have to create or to gain access to other resources. So, for example, when I was young, I had the ability to travel. I was blessed with a family that was like, when I said I wanted to travel, they were like, yes, we need a time off. We need some time off from this crazy kid running her mouth all the time. Used to call me Chatterbox. So they were like, yes, go to Europe for 3 weeks because we need a break. Hey, what a wonderful opportunity. What a great resource for me to have. I took that opportunity and expanded my resources. Okay, not everybody has that kind of privilege, and we respect and appreciate that. But as life coaches, we can also help people recognize their resources where they have blind spots. They may not see that they got light over here. We can help them remove the blind spot, let the light in, boom, they can see. All right, that's why we're doing the work we're doing. Now, we're talking about you though, because you're the one that counts. Right now, you're the one that counts. So your future self and your greatest potential are two concepts that are inherently linked. The more ambitious your goals, the more you expand your greatest potential, and the harder your future self has to work to meet it. Okay? The smaller your goals and ambitions, the more meek your greatest potential, and the less your future self has to stretch. Now, this is your life, okay? You get to determine your destiny by the choices you make, by what you focus on, okay? You get to choose your greatest potential. Just as you already, every day, you are already determining your future self by your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, okay? And behaviors, however many that was. You are currently the future self of your past self, living out the greatest potential of what you have in you right now. So in other words, you're currently doing the best you can with the spiritual, emotional, mental, and resources, the material resources that you have at your disposal, okay? That you're aware of, all right? When you're not aware, it's hard to work with things, but that again is the nature of humanity on Earth, okay? We came to have limited awareness, and limited conscious awareness. We have eternal awareness, but on earth in the human form, we're doing limited conscious awareness. Okay, that's a part of the game we play. So knowing that, you have to ask yourself, what do you want to create in the future? Sure, you want to be a life coach with a really good business, but what does that mean for you as a soulful provider of spiritual services, right? Who do you help? What problems do you solve? How do you help your people heal? Where do you help them? These are all questions that are common to this work, that are common to this vocation. But what about your own personal needs, your own personal development? And what about your own personal lifestyle, right? These are important too. And look, you've heard this 100 times before. As women, we have a tendency to think about other people, and we have a tendency to undervalue our own needs. We have a tendency to put the needs of everyone else before our own. And that is something we actually have control over, but we don't necessarily have the awareness that we need to get control over it. But we can exercise control over those feelings and those choices when we're aware. Okay? So what do you want to create for yourself spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and materially? All right? Like, how do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to work? These are things that are, they're really important. They matter because you matter. It's your life. You are the center of your universe. You are the center. Okay, you are the sun. You are therefore an authority. All right. Now, for me, coaching and healing are really about connecting with people and empowering them, and, you know, by helping them see where things went wrong. I like to help them make corrections in their lives. And for my personal life, you all know I'm ambitious. And one of the key things for me is freedom. Okay, I've got to be free. Free to live where I want, free to move about the world as I want. Freedom also means having the resources I need to achieve whatever it is I desire, whether it's, you know, buying some nice perfume, buying a dress that I love from, you know, one of Paris's top designers. Okay. If it's a retreat center in Tuscany, if I want to buy it, okay, I want to buy it. If I want to invest in it, I want to invest in it. I can do that. I want to do that. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my desire. And it's important to know who you are and what you desire. So becoming a spiritual life coach and a healer and a businesswoman who is supporting herself in her dreams, okay, you have to choose to align yourself with the mindset of that future self and your greatest potential, right? That is connected to those desires. So if I am a farmhouse owner, okay, a Tuscan farmhouse owner, who is she? What is she thinking? What does she do? How does she spend her time? How does she approach the world? And how did she manifest $4 million to buy that farmhouse in cash? How did she do that? the future self that is aligned with that thing, right? Now, currently, you all are working on jobs that support you financially, okay? But maybe it's not so satisfying for your soul, right? And look, I always like to say, I appreciate my job because I did, had a great 9 to 5, really loved it, appreciated it because it paid me, supported me, fine, all right? And at the same time, one can recognize that one can do better. And that's what I'm asking you to do. If you have a feeling in your soul to become a certified spiritual life coach, to me, that qualifies as a divine calling. Because you could also have a feeling in your soul to go to Zimbabwe and to mine for titanium or diamonds, okay? Do you have that as a calling in your soul? Because if you do, that is your soul's calling and you should be following that, and that would be a different type of boot camp. But if you have this calling in your soul that I'm talking about, then number one, you're in the right place. And you understand what I'm saying when we say that working in a dental office is very different than being a life coach, okay? The problem with working on that 9 to 5 job is that, yes, it supports you financially, but you can only make so much money in that job, okay? I don't care how good your job is. The owner of that business, of that company you work for, is not going to let you make more money than they do, okay? So my point is, you get to determine your financial destiny, and you can make as much money as you need to as a spiritual life coach and business owner. All right. Now, the other problem with the job is that it takes up a lot of space in your mind and in your calendar. You work a 40-hour work week, and then if you have any commuting to do, that can add up and, give you a 50-hour work week. All right. And that doesn't leave a lot of time for other things, because you do have to unwind. You do have to decompress, and sometimes that means just vegging out, zoning out. You also have to play. You have to exercise. You have to cook. You have to, do other things. The job gets the bulk of it. All right. So if you feel great about this opportunity and the thought of becoming a life coach and figuring out how to make enough money to support yourself, even if you start off, and we'll talk about this in tomorrow's session, the bonus session, but, do you want to make just maybe $3,000 a month? That would be a side hustle. Or do you want to make $10,000 a month, where that's more than a side hustle? That's a decent income, And I got to say, when you're making $100,000 and you've built the business, it feels pretty fucking awesome. Even if you're making $50,000, you realize how important that is if you generate $50,000 in your own business, like based on you creating something and people trusting you and investing in you, and you delivering excellent quality service, and people just keep coming. Can you imagine that you did that? I think that's really badass. And imagine, like, starting off, you start off your business, maybe you start off in the first year, you make $40,000, and you're like, hey, that's not bad. And this was just my side hustle. I created this. And then you build that up and you make 60,000, 80,000, maybe in the second year, if you're really working hard and you're really aligned. Whenever you get there, you make that first 100,000, it feels very powerful. And then you realize, I had to work really hard to make that $100,000. There's got to be a better way. That's what happens to every coach. I swear, talk to any coach. They'll tell you they worked really hard to get to that 100,000. When they got there, they were like, whoo, I'm exhausted. I cannot sustain this. And then what you have to do is you start working differently. So you start hiring team members and you start leveraging your stuff differently. It's not a difficult shift, but you have to maybe learn. If you can see how to do it yourself, great. I needed to be taught. I had to go to somebody. I went to a coach and I'm like, look, every time I make $100,000, I'm exhausted and I just kind of want to sleep for 3 months. How do I do this? How do I fix it? And then they give you the solutions and you start making $250,000 a year from your business and you're going, I did that. And it's the same thing. You should be saying that for all levels of business growth, whether it's the first 40,000 or, your first 250,000. Celebrate all of those because all of that is yours and you grew it and you were patient and you learned. That's the important thing. So what I want to talk to you about now is what's called the 9-to-5 employee mentality. All right. And the 9-to-5 employee mentality is like a natural response to working a 9-to-5 job every day. Okay. You get lulled into complacency and you get accustomed to letting somebody else tell you what time to show up. They tell you what income you can earn. You want a raise, you have to go in and ask for the raise. May I have a raise, please? Here, I've proven myself to you. Can I have a raise, please? Well, we'll consider your raise. Let's negotiate your raise, okay? Look, nothing wrong with that. That's the way it's been done. I'm just saying there's another way. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying there's another way. And, this is a mindset that our whole society has. Our parents did it, okay? I watched my granddad get up every morning, 5 a.m., go to work, work at the Hughes aircraft for part of his years, and then he worked for Ford for another part of his years, or some motor company for part of his years, and then came home, got home by 4 o'clock, turned on the news, watched TV, had his dinner, in front of the TV. Okay. Totally. That was life, buy your home, car, kids, all that stuff. Okay. Doing it over and over again, everybody going to work for the man. Of course, my family had, my parents, my mom and my dad, they had a dental office. And so I was able to see something else, but it was still the same thing. They got up to go work in their dental office. I got up to go work in the dental office too. And my parents owned it. I did not own the dental office. My parents owned the dental office. I did not own the dental office. They made me feel like I owned it, but they were the ones who made all the decisions. Okay. They're the ones who signed the checks. Crystal Lynn Bell never signed a single Crenshaw Family Dental Center check ever. So with the 9-to-5 employee mentality, it becomes second nature to think about yourself, your time, and your income, and even your circumstances where you live in terms of your job. So even if the job doesn't align with your spirit, okay, you've developed a dependency on your job and you've given it a priority in your life. And I would like to suggest that that job does not deserve that priority. That employer does not deserve that much of a priority in your life. So there are 4 limiting beliefs that go along with the employee mentality. Now, see if any of these are true for you, okay? Creating a business and running it is too much responsibility, okay? That's a belief, all right? Creating a business and running it is too much responsibility. That's the first one. The second one is, I don't know how to run a business. Okay, these are beliefs. I don't know how to run a business. Full stop. Okay, I don't know how to run a business. That is an employee mentality. That's limiting belief number 2. Here's number 3. It's expensive to run a business. Limiting belief number 4. I could fail and then it will be over. Okay. So right now you're working on a job that gives you money each month and it provides you a feeling of safety because of comfort. The comfort that comes from income and routine, okay? Doing the same thing over and over again. And this is totally understandable, right? But again, your job doesn't satisfy your soul and it doesn't fulfill your divine life purpose. So even though your 9-to-5 job doesn't align with your spirit, you have that dependency on it. And, you know, like I said, I don't think it deserves it, okay? So if you stick and allow these limiting beliefs to have influence over your decision to become a spiritual life coach, it's going to be very difficult to actually make the decision to give yourself a full yes to becoming a spiritual life coach. So let's start getting into the workbook. And what I want to say ultimately, and what I hope you'll walk away from today with, is an understanding of the mindset shift that you need to make in order to leave your 9-to-5 job. Okay, it's a mindset shift that needs to happen first. If you make the shift in your mindset, then the leaving of the job will happen naturally. You don't have to leave your job will fall away. Yes, it could be that you walk in and you say, hey, I actually just made the same amount of money in my own business, so I'm going to quit this job and just focus on growing my business. Okay, you could say that to your boss and then boom, walk out the door. Or it could be that you find yourself like, you know, saying yes to your purpose and the universe does you a favor and gets you laid off from work. And you're like, Crystalline, that's not a favor. And I'm actually saying, yes, it is actually. You just have to find out and discover how it's a favor. You're the one who defines your life. So you need to discover or define how getting laid off from your work is doing you a favor. I worked with a woman who got laid off, and for about 2 solid months, she was in resistance to being laid off. And I understand why she was in resistance. We did the work and it wasn't really about being laid off. It was the reasons why she got laid off. It wasn't that she didn't have money or anything like that. It was more about the way she was mistreated at her job. And on top of it all, they mistreated her, and then on top of it all, they let her go. That felt particularly injurious. But like I said, within 2 months, we had already done the healing on that, and she had turned that around right away, started her own business, and is fucking rocking, you see. So you make the definitions of everything. You define your life. And that is a beautiful thing. Let's get into, I should check in. You guys, I'm still here. All right. Yes, here we go. All right. Loving all the comments, y'all. Very good. I'm trying to find my screen so I can share. Okay, here we go. Boot camp. I'm assuming that everybody got their links, the worksheet, the workbook. Let me check in with my Facebook peeps. Here we go. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, here we go. Thank you, darling. All right. So this is our workbook. And we are going to hop right down here to page 4. Now, let me make sure I get this right. This workbook we're going to use it for today. Let me just take a quick peek. Yeah, we're going to use it for today and tomorrow as part of the bonus day. So we're going to work right here mostly on this page. This is page 4. Write down fears and doubts, right? We're going to mostly work on page 4 and 5 today. And then for home fun, you're going to do page 6. Okay. But we'll get into that. Let's just go here. Okay. So look, I like to appreciate, that we have these benefits from our 9-to-5 job. So the first thing I want you all to do is to write down everything you like or love about your job that you have. So I'm going to give you all just 1 minute to do that right now. Okay, the 1 minute has started. All right. So the reason we do that, identify your current job. Okay, pause 1 minute. Okay, and now write down the benefits you get from your 9-to-5 job. We got 1 minute on the clock here. And the reason I have you do this is because every time you appreciate something, every time you acknowledge the benefits of something, number one, it raises your vibration, sets your mindset towards something positive, lifts your emotions, which raises your energy, raises your frequency, and attracts more of that to you. Okay, so we're going to just start off, write down the benefits you get from that job, everything you love or like about it. Okay. Okay, and while you all are doing that, I'm just going to kind of say that these kinds of benefits that you're writing down are actually your responsibility to provide for yourself when you set up your own business. Okay, so whatever you've written down, let's say that the first thing you write down is that it gives me a good income. I like my staff. I like the people I work with. And let's say you say, oh, I work in a beautiful office. They've done a really good job of keep creating a beautiful space, and they have soft music playing, and there are fountains in every room. Okay, I'm describing my studio. We used to have these beautiful fountains and chimes and things like that. And it was, essential oils, whatever. So write down everything that you love about your workplace, and understanding that this is what you need to bring to your business for yourself. Okay. Now, so even though your job is giving you a lot of really good benefits, it's important to understand that your job is not the source of those benefits. Who is the source of actually the benefits you get from your work? Who's the source of those benefits? Anybody? Type it into the comments, okay? You all know what the answer is. You know the answer that I'm going to say. You are the source. You and your connection to source energy. Excuse me. You are the source of all of your good, okay? What you are experiencing in this world is an outpicturing of your mindset, your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and your actions, right? So as you are moving into this role of certified badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have to embody this new mindset, which is not only going to bring you those benefits, but also that assumes the full responsibility of being the source of all your own good. So in other words, what I'm saying is you have to own the spiritual truth that we all say, oh yes, I'm the source of all my good. I can't manifest this. I can't manifest that. Okay, there are some discrepancies going on there, okay? So what I need you to do is step into your adult panties, okay? Put on your high-heeled shoes and own the mindset that I am the source of my good. You are the power, and your job is your choice. The job you work on, that's your choice. You created that. Don't act like, oh, well, this is the job that I got, because a lot of people do that, right? You chose that job. You created it because you are a creator, all right? You can also create your own business, okay? A badass butterfly recognizes herself as the creator of her life experiences, okay? When a butterfly leaves the cocoon, it breaks free and it takes a moment, it flexes its wings, and the first thing she does is goes out and gets pregnant, right? One time, she has sex one time. He loads up her whatever the thing is called, the back of the butterfly where all the eggs are, fertilizes all those eggs. She carries those eggs around. She finds the perfect leaf where she's going to lay those eggs. And that's what she's doing for the rest of her life, creating. Laying eggs is creation. Okay. And she's pollinating, she's getting her nectar, and she's laying eggs. Okay. So in order to be successful and to own yourself as the source, you need 4 mindset qualities, okay? You need a self-reliant mindset. That is the higher self-reliance, okay? Not lower self-reliance, higher self-reliance. You need a self-efficacy mindset. That is an I can do it attitude. Okay. Self-efficacy is your ability, your self-belief, like you believe you can do it. I believe I can do it. That's self-efficacy, right? So you need an I can do it attitude. You need to rely on your higher self. You need a growth mindset, meaning that is an I can learn it attitude, right? I can learn it. That's a growth mindset. And you need a fearless mindset. That is an attitude that says, I can do hard things. I can do scary things, okay? So very quickly, your self-reliant mindset has an attitude of, I rely on my higher self, right? I don't rely on a job. I rely on my higher self. You have a mindset of self-efficacy. It is an attitude that says, I can do it. I can do it. You have a growth mindset, which says, I can learn it. And you have a fearless mindset, which says, I can do hard and scary things. So self-reliance refers to the higher self. So you're going to need to go from relying on your job to make decisions to relying on your higher self. Your higher self is different than your future self in that your future self is still in the human experience, okay? It's just, I am not my higher self. I'm just me from a year before, okay? But your future self, remember, got to your goals by doing all the steps like a human would have to do. They changed their mindset, they changed their habits, they changed their focus. They made different choices than what you're currently doing, but they're still human, okay? Your higher self is that untouched connection to God. It's the branch of God that is ultimately responsible for you. It is your direct link to God. It's that thing that whispers in your ear, like, you know, do you really want to eat another bite of that ice cream sundae, or do you just want to leave that? Like, maybe it's okay to not eat the whole thing, right? So that is that higher aspect of you that is actually living in wisdom and love, as opposed to human stuff like your future self. Okay. Now, you have a choice in any given moment to identify with any aspect of yourself. Okay. The egoic human aspect of yourself, or your higher self. All right. So when you decide to leave your 9-to-5 job, you have to make the decision to leave the employee mentality and to start relying on your higher self. You have to make the decision to stop being human and to start relying on your higher self. So in your workbook, there's a question here that asks, how can I become more self-reliant, higher self-reliant, right? How do you do that? It's a totally personal answer. Go ahead and start writing in your answer in your workbook here. It's again on page 4. And yeah, it is the third box from the top, okay, or the third section from the top. How can I become more reliant on my higher self? So for me, I rely on my higher self by praying, meditating, journaling. Very important for me. All right. You all write down in that space how you rely on your higher self. Now, when you align with your higher self, it becomes really easy to actually rely on it, right? Because really you unite with it. It's already here. It is your that full awareness that I mentioned before is fully your higher self. Like yourself, who you are, your interior, your space, the light that you are is already there, okay? When you meditate and connect, you're not pulling something in that wasn't there. It was already there. You're unfolding it, okay? So when you feel doubtful or some kind of a challenge comes up that kind of shakes your confidence, you have a choice. Do you choose ego and the employee mentality, or do you choose your higher self? So let's now talk about self-efficacy, right? Now remember, for this one, you have an I can do it attitude, right? Self-efficacy is about self-belief, believing in yourself, your relationship with your ability to do what you say you're going to do. Oh, okay, look, I just triggered myself because recently I've been intermittent fasting and I've not been able to do it. Like for the last 3 weeks, my fasting schedule has been really off. And this is reminding me that I need to get my attitude in order so that I can get through this long fast that I have to do. So what we want for you is to develop your relationship with self-efficacy. I want you to develop an I can do it attitude, whether it's building your business or whether it's getting yourself certified, whether it's organizing your schedule to allow you to get through the work that you need to do in order to build your business, okay? That is self-efficacy. And I want you to learn how to have an I can do it attitude, right? And it's really about being able to stick with something regardless of the outcome, okay? So what I want you to do in the workbook is to write down how you can develop your belief in your ability to accomplish your goals and desires, right? How can you develop your belief in your ability to accomplish your goals and desires? And for me, this is a matter of also writing. I just write and I affirm by writing. It's very powerful. Praying, reminding myself. I got all kinds of things on my walls to remind me about what I'm supposed to be focused on and what my attitude is. So write down how you can develop your belief in your abilities, your self-efficacy. And while you're doing that, I'm going to move on to the growth mindset. And Linda Dwork, this growth mindset came from her book. I think it's just called Mindset. And in that book, she talks about the difference between people who rely on talent versus people who rely on learning, right? I can learn it. It's a fabulous book, very inspiring. I really recommend it if you want to develop this I can learn it attitude. So in the book, she really teaches that it's not really about what you accomplish, it's about your attitude toward learning. So to be self-employed, you have to be kind of willing to make mistakes and to fail. So that's part of the growth mentality, the growth attitude. So as a coach and healer, it's okay to make mistakes. It really is. And actually, you don't really make a lot of mistakes. Well, the kind of mistakes you make, nobody really cares about. Like, they're the kind of mistakes that you would care about. Like, for example, maybe you were supposed to, anyway, I got a whole bunch of doping mistakes that I make, throughout the week, but they're not mistakes that keep you down, right? Because we're not doing brain surgery. Like, if you make a mistake, it's not going to be bad. And I don't know of a coach who made a mistake with their client, like, oh, I said this and I shouldn't have said that. That can be a mistake that you could make. I take it back. You could do that, but I don't think that happens very often because, well, when I teach you, okay, that's the first thing I teach you is don't go into any client session with your ego showing. Like, you get into your higher self before you go into a session with a client, okay? So that's number one. And when you do that, you're working with your higher self. So you don't have to really worry about offending people and doing things wrong because you're just there channeling, being present. That's the way to do your work. Be present. You don't have to worry about that stuff. So that is the growth mindset. And so in the book, I want you all to write about how can you embrace the learning process? What can you do to make sure that you are learning, in a way that feels great for you, that feels expansive, and that it supports you so that you could go on, right? Because that's another thing, there are things that you're going to do as a life coach that are hard. They're not like brain surgery, but they're challenging just because, sometimes sitting down to write a blog is hard. Like, sometimes it's just like, my mind doesn't want to work on this, and creating programs, like creating this worksheet, trying to figure out what questions to ask, trying to figure out what to present. It's not always easy, I mean, it's fun. I love this kind of stuff. I love putting, this is like a puzzle to me. What am I going to talk about? Oh, it's a puzzle. But sometimes it's also challenging, like, oh, I can't get my mind to settle. Okay. Either way, you just figure out how to work with yourself, and you always get it done. We always get it done. We coaches, we always do. So writing down how you can embrace the learning process. And then the last section is about the fearless mindset, okay? And again, I'm going to say it again, your future self is different than you because she did hard things, all right? So the future self, what are some of the hard things you all imagine? We're wrapping up right now, by the way, ladies. This is our last little bit. But before we go, what are some of the hard things what are some of the things you think will be hard for you as a life coach and as a business owner? Okay. For me, the hard things, like I said, is kind of getting myself focused. That is hard. But also, there are some hard things, like sometimes going in front of the camera can be hard. Sometimes, and I went through a very long, difficult period where putting on makeup was hard, and getting myself dressed was hard, because so much of your personal life gets carried into your work that if there is if you don't know how to separate the two can get smushed together. And there are some tools and techniques that you can use to help you with those things. But, if you have dealt with depression or any kind of mental anxiety or disorder, then, you might be nervous about working for yourself and having to rely on yourself. I understand. But again, that is a fear and not a reality. And just because, even if it is a reality that, maybe you do have to manage your mindset, can you do that and build your business? Sure. You need a plan and you need to figure it out. But it means that you have to go forward towards something that's hard and scary. But that's also how you expand your soul, you expand yourself, and eventually you'll expand your income. All right, so you all should be writing in how you can do the hard things that will take you to the next level. All right. Now, for your home fund, I want you to write down your fears and doubts about leaving your 9-to-5 job. Okay. And I want you to write down all the tools and resources that you have at your current job that can be transferred or applied to your spiritual life coaching and your divine coaching business. So, for example, let's say you're a nurse and you have to be present with people, right? Then you would type, yeah, I have to be present with people. I have to be really compassionate. I have to listen. I have to, I have to be the go-between between the doctor and the patient, making sure that, that I'm supporting the doctor and supporting the patient, right? And maybe you have to do that also, when the client is needing some really big information from their spirit guides, you're going between the spirit guides and the client, same kind of thing. You're watching, supporting, nurturing, making sure everything is getting followed through, right? So write down those qualities or those tools and resources. All right, y'all. I'm going to just check in here and see if there are any new messages. And yeah, I do want to remind you all that my certification program is open. And also I have these new programs that I am happy to introduce you to. I'll be talking about the new programs on Tuesday. But remember that if you want to save 40% on enrollment in my certification program, you need to book your strategy call before this Saturday, right? Because Saturday is the day the bonus goes away. All right. So go ahead and get yourself booked in, and let's talk about what it is you want to do. Let's get you set up in your divine coaching business. All right, let me just check over here on Facebook and see if there's any feedback. All righty. Very good. We are looking good, y'all. So thank you so much for joining, and we will be back tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow we're doing money. Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. So I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you, Sister Sophia. It's nice to see your face. All right. Bye, darling. Woo, bye, beautiful.